Well, hello, friends. Good morning. We are on day 2. I'm Tricia Goyer, and we are reading in the Stop, Challenge, and Choose ebook. We are reading day 2, which are chapter 2. So that kind of, we're just going to correspond. Day 1, we're going to read the first chapter. Day 2, we're reading the second chapter. Good morning. And I love this little ebook. So it is basically a summary, a short little summary of the life book by Dr. Wayne Scott Anderson, which, I mean, the health wise, I've just learned so much about eating, but mind wise, of thinking and how to be a healthy person and make healthy choices. And hello, all my friends. It's good seeing everyone. So it's making healthy choices. So today we're going to be talking about it's time for a reality check. And in day 2 of the ebook, Stop, Challenge, and Choose, there's some assessments there. And I remember when I got my life book 17 months ago, I started March 2023. I was 268 pounds. I'm 5'6", so that's a lot of weight. I was exhausted all the time. I was on high blood pressure medication. I mean, it would be like like 160s, 170 type of for the high number. Um, I was pre-diabetic. I have an office upstairs, but I wouldn't walk upstairs to go to my office and work in my office. I usually work on my bed in my bedroom writing books because it was just too much work to walk upstairs. Looking back now, I'm like, okay, but the thing is, I didn't fully assess myself. I thought I was doing pretty good. I was writing books. We were taking care of kids. I was, pretty much getting my things done that I need to do, homeschooling. It wasn't until this assessment by Dr. Anderson where I took a good look at where I was. So it was truly my reality check. So, and then the other reality check came when we went on vacation, and I got back and took a good look at the vacation photos and didn't post any of them that had me in it because it was a reality of what I looked like. And so for the first time, I really saw how much weight I had gained. And then as going through this assessment, it was like, I am in big trouble. I was like basically a D minus when it came to that assessment on health, on finances, on the relationships were the best part. Like I felt like I was connected with God and with other people, but that was like holding me up with these other areas. So, but when I looked at those photos, I barely recognized the women in the photo with the exhausted smile and 100 extra pounds. And I thought about like what had made my health slide so badly. Part of it was the stress and trauma that came from adopting kids from trauma. There was a lot of stress. And like the truth is, for all of us, whatever's going on, busyness, stress, other emotional stuff, food is a pick me up, pick us up for a time, right? For that time, we have the high of the moment where we feel a bit of relief, but then we're literally carrying around the burden on our frames from dealing with that in the wrong ways. So we all know the drill though. We know the importance of healthy eating. I had lost weight before. I had again this other time tried all these other things that really wasn't going anywhere, and I still had the chaos of everyday life. Having 10 kids is no joke. And healthy habits was taking a backseat. I would do well for a couple days, but I was not consistent at all. And you know, you guys understand what I'm going through. I mean, there's the part of you where you know you need help, but also you're like, well, I'm doing the best I can, which is true. And one cheeseburger won't hurt anything, which is not true. But those are the things like we're telling ourselves, and we justify a lot. But those things add up. The extra pounds add up, and then it's just not about the physical health. It's all the areas where we're falling short. And pretty soon I realized maybe spiritually I am not doing as well as I thought. And maybe I'm not being present in the moment with my kids. And I wasn't really giving myself permission to rest, like to think through, to like really just take time to breathe because I was behind on everything. And when I did rest, it was more like falling asleep out of exhaustion. So today with our little ebook, it's time for all of us to do an assessment and a reality check. It just takes literally at the most 4 minutes to read through the section. So don't, I know you probably came here and we're thinking about the food and what we're going to cut out and what we're going to do and all those habits, but the mindset is going to be one of the things that really carries you through. And I think all of us have room for improvement. I can't say I'm a perfect 10 at all in any of these areas. So I'm still a work in progress. I would say Dr. Anderson would probably say he's still a work in progress. So what areas need improvement? And we need to kind of admit that. So again, when I first got into that life book and I took the assessment, I thought I was doing okay and I wasn't doing as well. And it was there in black and white. And that really helps. Just like pause. You don't have to print out the ebook if you don't want to, but at least in a piece of paper, like number where you are in those areas, like write the area and put the number down. And it was hard for me to face those numbers and realize like I am like if someone would have asked me before, like, how are you doing in life? Oh yeah, I'm doing good. I'm writing books and homeschooling and traveling and doing all these things. But when I looked at the numbers of how I really was doing, and then once I started getting healthy, and then once I started coaching people, I started inviting my husband along. And I remember the first time we were talking with a couple, and we were talking with Lisa and Corey, and John said, I was worried about Trish. And I saw her health decreasing so quickly that I had to start thinking about what I would do if something happened to her and I would be left with all these kids. And that's the first time I ever heard him say that, when we were like talking with this couple and coaching through and helping, encouraging them in their health journey, that I'm like, this is serious. Like, it was way more serious, but I was kind of not really realizing how serious it was. So it was a hard moment for me to face. And it's like amazing that, again, as we're going through this ebook, looking through that assessment again, and I was like in the 2s and 3s and like exercise and body and nutrition before, and that was probably generous. Now I feel like I'm in like the 6 and 7 range. Like, I'm pretty much, well, I would say food wise, I'm doing pretty good. I mean, I'm making good choices continually. I have been making good choices. 87 pounds down has proven I've been making good choices. So that's a great feeling. But I was listening to a podcast recently and it talked about neutral thinking. And I had not heard this before. And it's funny as I'm looking through this assessment and what I'm going to be talking about today. So basically, there's people that look at things as a glass half empty. And there's people that look at things at a glass half full. And I was the glass half full, so I was always trying to find the positive in things. I have family members that I grew up with that are like the negative, so I didn't want to be that. But I wasn't facing reality. So I think that's important too. And so really, it comes to realistically assessing where we are and taking it seriously, because it's like how it plays out with our health is going to really matter in the long run. Adopting kids from foster care, we started going to trauma counseling, and they talked about there's an emotional brain and there's a thinking brain. And so whether we're trying to buoy ourselves and being positive, that's actually up in the emotional brain. Or if we're being negative, that's in the emotional brain. So when the emotional brains are turned on, either we're like, I'm so horrible, I can't believe where I am, I can't believe I did this to myself, I look so fat, I'm not going to post these photos or whatever. Or I'm like, I'm not that bad, at least I'm not as big as that person. Or I'm going to do better, I walked 2 days last week, like whatever. Those are emotions. Like, we're either emotional trying to buoy ourselves up or an emotional get ourselves down. But the thinking brain, like when those are on, we're not thinking. And so when we think, it's just like really assessing where we are, not being emotional, and really thinking through. So ways that we can assess our current state, and first of all, do that assessment by Dr. Anderson, and then weigh ourselves. And a lot of people, even when I start coaching, they're like, I'm not going to get on a scale. Well, you're not going to know how far you come. So just like get on there, like at the number, and just assess it. You don't have to wrap any emotions around it. Just assess it. And the scale is not the only win, right? The scale is not the only change, but it is going to help us see where we are. Check your body mass index. I was morbidly obese. I don't like that word or those words, but that's where I was. And then get a health checkup. My doctor's like, you need to do something. And I came home and was praying about it, and God's like, Amber, contact Amber. And I'm like, honestly, I was like, oh crap. I love you, Amber. But I was because I didn't want to have to submit. I'm like a very do everything myself person. And having to like, okay, what do I do now? What do I, I didn't want to do that. But I'm so glad I did. I'm so glad I did. So And then, so after you assess your current state, set realistic goals based on data, achievable goals. So, like for those who are doing Optavia, it is they say the average weight loss is 10 to 12 pounds. And we have a disclaimers in my photos any photos that I post in this group. Average weight loss is 10 to 12 pounds a month. And I will say that's very, very, just people I coach, whether they're 20 or 70. That's been right on board, right around 10 to 12 pounds a month. And then, so know this is the plan. It's scientifically designed. This is what happens. So just know that if you're going to continue doing the detox, whether it's with your own food, or with Optavia, something like that, you are going to want to see something changing. Like it's working when you see something changing, and then create a plan. So thankfully, we have a plan here. If you're doing your own food, you have to create more of a plan, but just have a plan. Just figure out what you're going to eat during the day. Eat small meals throughout the day. Make sure you're getting enough protein. And then eventually when you start feeling better, we're not going to focus it during this detox. Weeks from now, when you're starting to feel better, add in some walks. As you're feeling better, you'll naturally want to do that. And then monitor your progress. So I've been tracking. Yesterday, I was so diligent in tracking. I've been doing the 5 snacks and 1 lean and green meal all day yesterday, which I will tell you, even though I'm a coach, I'm trying to find the app real quick. It got a little loosey-goosey when I'd add in more nuts. So add in a little bit. It was all healthy choices. But yesterday, let's see, can I go back to yesterday? I'm trying to figure out how to do the health journey for yesterday. Anyway, I tracked every single thing yesterday. I don't know. I have to look at my app. I'll have to figure this out for tomorrow. But I wrote down when I was eating, and I would look and say, okay, I'm going to be able to have another healthy snack in 20 minutes. And it wasn't like like my stomach was even rumbling. It was just my mind was thinking. And I know because I did this before, once I ease into it, it's just going to become second nature again. I'm not going to be grabbing nuts here or grabbing extra cheese stick here. I'm just sticking to the plan, and I'm detoxing right along with you. And then reflect and adapt. So if you are working with a coach, you can do this one-on-one. Right now we're trying to do kind of group coaching, but if you have a coach and you're doing Optavia, I tell my people, whenever you need me, reach out to me. One of my clients was going out to dinner. She just started on plan, and I said, if you are out to eat, send me a copy of the menu and I will help you. And she did, and she had a plan, and she did great. She started to eat something that was not healthy, and then she remembered Tricia and I had a plan and was able to stick to it. So no, that is very helpful too. But neutral thinking, like just assessing where you are now, helps you stay focused and balanced and proactive in your health journey. And then remember that your life is your currency. People talk about all the investing in money, I've invested skills into learning how to write. But if I don't invest in my health, I'm not going to be around to enjoy whatever 401k my husband put in, or whatever training that I did to be a writer. If I'm not healthy, then I'm not going to be able to do those things that I feel God called me to do. So the currency we exchange for experiences and relationships and even a legacy is dependent on how we care for our physical body. We will not have experiences. We will not have relationships. We will not have a legacy of doing these things that we feel called to do if we aren't healthy enough to do them. So every choice you make, every habit you form is either investing in the currency of your life or it's devaluing it. And so I want you to ask yourself, like, what kind of investment am I making, and is it worth it? And the fact that you are here and that you're showing up is showing that you believe that it's worth it. So are you spending your days on things that truly matter? And are you aligning your time with your deepest values and goals? Or are you flittering away the precious time you've been given and your health that you've been given. So well-being is returning, making a return on the investment. And so we are right here being in this group, prioritizing our physical, our emotional, our spiritual health, our bodies, all these things are where we can flourish together. And so it made me think of us as I was putting my notes together for this. 1 Corinthians 6:19-20 says, "Do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit, who is in you, whom you have received from God? You are not your own, you are bought with a price. Therefore, honor God with your bodies." And you might not be a believer or have faith, but just know that all of us should honor our bodies. Whether we believe that's a gift from God or not, we should honor our bodies. And so it's a powerful reminder that our bodies are sacred and entrusted to us. This is the only body we're going to have. And only we have the power to change our story and to invest in this currency of our life. And it should bring an abundant return. John and I, we just did a couple calls last night, and he was talking about like it. Yes, it was a financial sacrifice when we started on this journey, both of us, two people, but we spend so much less at the grocery store. Our stomachs have shrunk. We spend way more less when we go out to eat. We are healthy. We're off medications. We went to the doctor, and the doctor's like giving us both 2 thumbs up. We have more energy. Our kids say we're funner parents. We're doing more experiences. It's just, it has been a worthwhile investment. So first of all, I'm so glad that you're here and we're taking this step together, day 2, and I'm proud of you for showing up. And I'm thankful that 17 months ago, I showed up. I humbled myself. It was hard. I humbled myself. I sought help. I bought into something that I can see that was working for a lot of people, and it transformed my life. So I'm so excited that you are here, and I'm going to read my comments. So Monica said, a body scan's incredible eye-opener. It helps you set your goals based on true, specific data. That is really good, Monica. I've not had a body scan. So John, my husband, so I've lost 87 pounds. He's lost 70 pounds. He actually, his numbers were all wonky, and he went in, because his liver numbers were really bad. So he went in for a liver scan. And it just so happened, which I think it was totally a God thing, because that person was training someone. And so he's like, okay, so usually they just scan and click and scan and click. Well, he's training someone. And he's like, okay, do you see this? This is a fat deposit. Do you see this? This is a fat deposit. We call this non-alcoholic chronic, it's on its way to be non-alcoholic chronic liver disease. So this is my husband, who is 57, former Marine. He was always the healthier one of us. And he comes home and he's like, I got to change. He starts walking. He's doing Atkins bar. Nothing's really changing. Then I get all my diagnoses, and I decide, like, again, humble myself, reach out to Amber as my coach, start the Optavia plan. I'm diligent. And then he sees me changing and he jumps on plan in July. By September, his enzymes were so much better, and now they're back in the green range. So I love that when we do this detox and we're eating the protein and the vegetables, we're eating the healthy snacks at regular intervals, it puts us in that fat burn, that slow fat burn, and it's burning the fat around our organs. It's not water weight, it is burning the fat around our organs. And I love that a year ago, because a year ago last month. So 13 months ago, he was at the doctor getting a scan saying that, look at these fat deposits, and now that's not there. So, I mean, that's a miracle. That's a miracle for our kids, because our youngest is 13. We need to be around a while. And then, so Jody also said my husband had fatty liver, and after losing 100 pounds, it's no longer an issue. Yes, it's so amazing. So all this to say, do the assessment, but when you do the assessment, don't beat yourself up. Don't, because like we are where we are, right? But the good news is you're here and you're making changes. And I'm so excited that you are. All right. So Monica said, seeing your body composition, muscle, fat, water, inflammation, etc., in clear numbers, averages helps clarify your state and progress. I love that, Monica. I think that is a great thing. If you could do body scan, go do that. I might do that. I might be. It might be fun. Now, I would have probably been horrified earlier, but yeah, thank you for sharing that. All right. So, in the group is the assessments. Make sure you just pull up that ebook. It honestly will take you less than 5 minutes to read the section, do an assessment, and then continue on with your plan. If you are interested in getting a health coach that can guide you every step of the way and help you use these scientific fuelings, scientifically designed fuelings that are, I mean, it's helped so many of us, reach out to the person who invited you to this group. And if it's me, send me a private message. But whoever invited you to this group, reach out to them, talk to them, and they would love to help you. All right. Bye, friends.